She is a 5-time founder, a corporate trainer, an international renowned keynote speaker, and she is somebody that's really helping companies all across the world either triple or quadruple their sales simply by effective and efficient, what I would call the process of trust and vetting, but what other people call as profiling. So Orly Amor, please come join us up front.
Okay, good. All right. A year from now, you'll wish you started today. That's what I heard 27 years ago. Kind of dating myself there. In 2006, my girlfriend asked me to speak at a women's shelter. How many of you have an annoying friend? She was my annoying friend. She called me every single day for 3 weeks. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? After 3 weeks, I said, okay, why me? There's other people that speak on this subject matter. Why me? She said, well, you have this bubbly personality everywhere you go. People hug you. People who don't know you hug you. And you're living a lifestyle that most people dream about. You're like a social butterfly. Come and give these people hope. I said, okay, what do I have to do to get you off my phone? And she said, well, for you to say yes. And I said, oh, gosh, she's going to be even more annoying, so I better say yes. I did not want to go speak. I didn't want to tell my story. How many of you felt that way? We don't want to tell our story because what happens is, and I'm not going to make you raise your hand again, I promise, okay? So one of the things that I remembered is that I didn't want to tell my story. I was in property management for 25 years. I was changing laws in the state of Florida. I was doing so many amazing things. I wrote 2 books on that subject matter. So I didn't really want to tell my story. And finally, I said yes. And a couple of months later, I spoke at this women's shelter. And after I got done speaking, since I was already speaking in the world of property management, something very weird happened. Usually in property management, when I used to go and speak, people used to get, Miss Amor, we have a problem in our condo association, you know. I always had somebody come up with a problem. But this time, something very weird happened. I got off the stage. There was not one eye dry in the place. And people were hugging me, saying, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me hope. Thank you. I didn't know what to do with that because that was my first motivational speech. But one lady came up to me and she was crying. She goes, thank you. You don't understand. I said, no, honey, I do understand. Please, calm down. No, you don't understand. And back and forth we went and I said, no, I do. No, you don't. And after like 2 minutes of this, she said, no, you don't understand. Oh, whoa. For a moment. She took a piece of paper out of her pocket and she said, this is how I was going to kill myself this morning. In fact, I don't even remember driving from my house to the shelter because you see here, it's not where I was going. But I heard you speak and I want to live. I just need you to show me how. Well, Niagara Falls was just a small drop of water from my face. I couldn't hold it together. But in my head, it was not like, oh, wow, this is cool. It was like, oh, my God, I just saved someone's life. And I realized that the speaking part was not about me. It was never about me. It's much bigger than me. It was a real pivotal moment in my life. In both of my books, Mindset Mastery, The 12 Powers We Hold Within, or my book that's here, which is called the 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. Public speakers, you're not all that. By the way, I'm coming out with a new book, and it's called Public Speakers, You're Still Not All That. How to Navigate the Virtual Paid Speaking World, because you can make a lot of money there, too. And so one of the things that resonated there is, oh, my God, my story can matter. And in my book, that story of that day is in the book. Basically what it says, that morning, and it's Chris telling that story, one of my friends, and he's telling the story of me standing at my house, and there was a little frog that fell into my pool, and he was trying to get out in the deep end. And that was my predicament. I did not want to go and speak that day. I wanted to get out of that talk, and I lamented on it all day long. But then I realized that the power of sharing our story, which everybody spoke about today, how important is that? Let me tell you my story in 13 seconds so we can get that out of the way. I was a beaten up child. I was molested 4 times before the age of 14. I was raped 3 times before the age of 22, twice gang raped, 9 months apart, left for dead at minus 15 degrees Celsius. According to the doctors, I should not have survived those 2 times of gang rapes because I was left in an alley at such temperatures that I should have died from dehydration, starvation, or hypothermia. So a miracle, to say the least. One of my conversations was the first time with God. And I said, okay, I'm in too much pain. Take it away. Bring me home. I'm done. Too much pain, rats running all over me. I was just done. This is too painful. I was kicked in the head, so I'm a little deaf on this ear. And so I sometimes might lean in to hear you, okay? And then the second time I was like, okay, God, all right. I got the message the first time, but if you're leaving me alive this time, please make sure it's for a good reason. I didn't know what that reason would be. In 2013, I started a chapter for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in New York. I didn't even know what holistic meant. So to say yes, I just said yes because I live by 2 mantras, and I'll repeat that in a second, but one of them is by Les Brown. The how is not your business. And the second one is by Sir Richard Branson. When an opportunity knocks, say yes, figure it out later. And going forward, I started a company called the Health and Wellness Network of Commerce. And I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be the way I'm gonna impact people's lives in a big way, right? What if we started chapters all over the world? And we did. We were in 26 chapters, 6 countries, 18 states. That's what we did for a long time. And I couldn't believe it grew within 6 months. And I'm like, okay, what a problem to have in a company, right? It just grew by itself. I thought I had found the way I'm going to impact other people's lives. In 2010, I told my business coach, and by the way, do not hire a coach that doesn't have a coach. They just don't know the value. I said to my business coach, I would like to impact the lives of 200 million people by 2025. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of that story on how we got to the number and how we got to 2025. Well, the number, yes, 200 million people. How many people read the book, The Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Well, if you remember, there's a story in there with Gandhi. And he was able to lead 200 million people against violence and hunger. Not many people remember that story from that book. And therefore, that's where I got the number. So I told my coach that, and a few months later, I was just hanging out by my pool with a bunch of speakers, and I'm hearing them talk and complain that nobody's hiring. So they're complaining, no money, no money, no money. And I'm thinking, whoa, guys, what are you talking about? Minimum wage in public speaking is $150,000 a year. They looked at me like if I was crazy. What? Some of us make 50, Orly. Some of us 60. Some of us 80, 100. That's pushing it. 150? You're out of your freaking mind. I said, okay, you do you, I'll do me. They hate when I say that. And in my head, I was thinking, well, thank God I didn't tell them that I triple that. Because then they would have, it was a cartoon actually playing in my head. I love cartoons. A cartoon was playing in my head that they're going to shove me in the pool, take over the house, take over the dogs. That's what I was imagining. So I said, no, don't tell them. And a couple of months later, I was doing a tour in Europe, 7 countries. And on my way back, I spoke in Arlington, Texas. In the break room for speakers, these 3 guys came over to me. One of them says, aren't you Orly Amor? I said, yeah, do I know you? Sorry, I don't remember. And now that you guys know my story, that was creepy. They all came over. And so I said, no, do I know you? They said, no, we've never met before, but we've seen you on the circuit. I said, okay, cool. Phew. And here we are just talking shop. And one of them at one point says to me, look, I'm just curious. How did you get this gig? I said, I don't know. I called, I told them what I speak about. They paid me and I'm here. They all looked at me like if I had 3 heads. You got paid? And I'm like, you guys didn't? They're like, no, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid. I said, oh no, I got paid and I got my expenses paid. So they said, well, we want to know how you did that. And I said, well, if I tell you, I'm going to need to charge you. And I was just kidding. I was not even coaching yet. So they said, okay, name your price. And I'm like, what? Okay, can we exchange cards? Let's see what we can do with that. I don't know what to do. And I went to see the event planner. I was mortified. I had to tell her what I just did. I said, listen, I'm so sorry. I think I screwed up. I just told these 3 guys that I got paid and they didn't. She's like, shh.